All right, let's just get right into it. We're going to talk about discipline today, but probably not in the way you're used to thinking about it. We have to start by tackling the single biggest, most common misunderstanding about what discipline even is.
For most of us, when we hear that word discipline, our brains immediately conjure up this image of a cage, right? We think about restriction, about being bored, about all the things we can't do. But what if I told you that whole idea is completely backward? What if the very thing you think is limiting you is actually the only thing that can ever truly set you free?
And this really gets to the heart of it. The myth is that discipline is some kind of prison made of rules. But the truth is, without it, you're already in a prison. You're just a prisoner of your own impulses, a prisoner of distractions, a prisoner of your short-term cravings. Real discipline, that's the key that unlocks the cell door.
Yeah, you can think of it as the discipline paradox. It sounds contradictory, but it's not. See, without discipline, you aren't free at all. You're a slave to your feelings, a slave to the next notification on your phone, a slave to whatever is easiest in the moment. That is the real prison. Discipline is what hands you back the controls, so you can actually be the one to decide where you're going.
Okay, so how do we get that control? Well, it doesn't start with some new fancy app or a complicated workout plan. Nope, it starts right here in your head. Mastering discipline is a mental game, long before it ever becomes a physical one.
And here's the first thing you absolutely have to get. Nobody is born with discipline. It's not some magic gene that some people get and others don't. It is a skill. And just like any other skill, like learning guitar or learning to cook, it's something you can build with practice. It's available to literally anyone.
And what's wild is how much your own words matter here. A tiny shift in your language can totally reshape your reality. When you say, "I'll try," what are you really doing? You're leaving yourself an escape route. You're giving your brain permission to fail. But when you say, "I will," well, that's a decision. That's a door locking behind you. It takes quitting off the table before you even start.
You also have to completely reframe what discipline means to you. Look, if you see it as a punishment, as this awful thing you have to suffer through, of course you're going to avoid it. But what if you saw it as an act of self-respect, as an investment you're making in the person you want to be tomorrow? All of a sudden, it stops feeling like a chore and starts feeling like an opportunity.
And this is the bottom line. You have to change the story you tell yourself. Your brain believes what you tell it over and over again. So stop saying, "I'm not a disciplined person." Start identifying as someone who shows up, as someone who does what they say they're going to do. You might not even believe it at first, but if you act the part, your actions will eventually make it your new reality.
Okay, so let's get practical. Let's move from the mindset to the blueprint, because a strong mindset is essential, but it needs a system to work inside of. This is all about taking discipline out of the world of feelings and putting it into the world of automatic habits.
Here's a hard truth. If you are waiting to feel motivated, you are going to lose. Motivation is just a feeling. It's an emotion. It comes and it goes. It's a flaky friend you can't rely on. A solid routine, on the other hand, it doesn't care how you feel. It's the system that just keeps you going, even on the days motivation decides not to show up.
And listen, you don't build this routine by trying to change your entire life in one weekend. That's just a recipe for burnout. You have to start small. I mean, ridiculously small. Pick one thing, one non-negotiable habit. Then, your only job is to be consistent. Just show up. That repetition is what builds the discipline muscle. And only after you've proven you can do that do you slowly start to add more.
Now, a really powerful trick to make this whole thing easier is something called habit stacking. It's simple. You just link a new habit you want to build onto an old one that's already automatic. For example, you already make a cup of coffee every morning, right? That's automatic. So just stack a new habit on top of it. After I pour my coffee, I will read for 5 minutes. You see? The old habit becomes the trigger for the new one.
And finally, on the practical side, just stop making things so hard on yourself. Stop fighting an uphill battle every day. Design your environment so that the disciplined choice is the easiest choice. You want to work out in the morning? Lay your clothes out the night before. You want to read more? Put a book on your pillow. You want to eat healthier? Get the junk food out of the house. Make discipline the path of least resistance.
Okay, now we have to talk about the biggest enemy you'll ever face. It's not a lack of time, it's not a lack of energy, it's the clever, convincing lies we tell ourselves to justify not doing the work. You got to understand this. Discipline and excuses cannot live in the same house. One of them has to go.
And here it is, the #1 excuse of all time.
We've all used it. I just don't have time. It feels so real, doesn't it? So logical. But is it actually true?
This gets right to the core of it. It is never, ever about a lack of time. We all get the same 24 hours in a day. The real question is about priority. Let's just be honest. You make time for the things that are truly important to you. So the excuse, "I don't have time," is really just a coded way of saying, it's not a priority for me right now.
And here's the other big one, the one that's all about how we feel. Just too tired. This one feels impossible to argue with, right? I mean, it's about our physical state. Or is it?
Well, here's the thing. Most of the time, that feeling isn't actual deep physical exhaustion. It's mental resistance. It's your brain doing its job, trying to conserve energy by avoiding something that's difficult or uncomfortable. And the funny thing is, the cure for this kind of tired is action. The second you push through that resistance and just start, that tired feeling, it often just vanishes.
So ultimately, you have to take ownership. You have to identify the specific little weaknesses in your day that give birth to these excuses. Is it scrolling on your phone first thing in the morning, draining your willpower? Is it having junk food in the kitchen just tempting you? You have to play offense and proactively remove the triggers that are designed to make you fail. And all of this brings us to the final and maybe the most crucial piece of this entire puzzle. Discipline isn't a 30-day challenge you complete and then you're done. It's not a temporary fix. It's a commitment. It's about playing the long game.
This chart just says it all, doesn't it? It's the fundamental trade-off of life. Every disciplined action requires you to pay a small price, a little bit of short-term discomfort. But in return, it pays you back with a massive long-term reward. The undisciplined path is the exact opposite. A little short-term pleasure for a future filled with long-term pain and regret.
And please, hear this. You are going to have bad days. You will mess up. You will fail. That's not just okay, it's guaranteed. The goal is not to be perfect. The real test of discipline isn't whether you fall down, it's how fast you get back up. Don't wait for next Monday to start over. Reset immediately.
And you have to burn this into your brain. Success is a lagging indicator. The effort you put in today will almost never show its results tomorrow. It's like planting a seed. You have to fall in love with the process, with the simple act of showing up and doing the work, and just trust that the results are an inevitable consequence of that consistency.
So really, it all just boils down to this one question. Who do you want to become? Do you want to be someone who's controlled by their impulses, by distractions, by their own excuses? Or do you want to be someone who has the freedom and the power to actually build their own life on their own terms? The answer to that question is discipline, and the choice is yours.